All right. Hold on one second while I stop the video.
You ever wondered
Oh, see,
what
there it is. That's what
actors
I was
and
trying to
actresses
avoid right
do when
there.
they have to get in shape really fast for?
Those ads that come up after the video. I was trying to get to it, y'all. I didn't make it. I wasn't quick enough. All right. So I just want to welcome you all once again to the Outlive the Labels Volume 2 From Trauma to Triumph Conference. Once again, I just want to say thank you to all of the co-authors who are speaking tonight and sharing your stories. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for just giving us the gift of sharing your stories so that others can be inspired and impacted. So let's go right into our first panel. We have, just some, like I said, some phenomenal speakers. But first, before I go into the first panel, let me just tell you about the vision of Outlive the Labels and how it contributes to the fight against human trafficking. Every book, a portion of our proceeds, which are the Amazon online sales, that goes to a human trafficking effort that impacts globally. And this particular time, we have been able to donate to a work that's being done out in Ohio. It's called Rahab's Hope of Ohio. And it is just an amazing facility that provides housing for human trafficking survivors. And the work is being run by Dr. Marlene Carson. She has been in this field for years, but this facility, it looks like a place where you would just want to go and lay your head and you could be at peace. And I actually stayed there, and it's a place where I would live, and that feels good, that survivors can go to a place that you yourself would live, and it's not some place that feels like you're in a shelter, in a desperate situation, but it feels like home. It's so peaceful there, and I absolutely love the work that they're doing. And so that was the nonprofit that I chose for this project and for the next project, because I believe in the work so much that they're doing that I joined the board of directors, and I want to do as much as I can to contribute to what they're doing out in Ohio. Now, anyone, it doesn't matter what state you're in, it doesn't even matter what country you're in. If you are a survivor of human trafficking, this is a place where you'll be able to go and be able to not only live, but she helps you to form your own business or go to school, because those are the only requirements, is that you either you become an entrepreneur or you go back to school. And it's just an amazing thing that she's doing there. So if anybody wants to know more about that, I encourage you to Google Rahab's Hope of Ohio. Or if you know someone who is in human trafficking, you know someone who can use this type of service or in need of housing, who is a survivor, please reach out to me, and I will make sure that I connect you with Dr. Carson, and she can get that person out of that situation. That's the beauty of it. It's so close, it's right there, and it's available. It's just a matter of people actually letting us know that they need that help, or us pinpointing or identifying people that need the help. So that's like, just my little blurb about human trafficking, and why it's so important to me is because I myself am a 2-time survivor of trafficking. And although I met my first trafficker at the age of 15, I didn't even know what it was until the age of 38. So I've dedicated time and my first vice president is human trafficking. And so with that said, that's why it's near and dear to my heart, among other reasons. But Outlive the Labels is a collection of stories to inspire you, to bring hope. And that is what tonight is all about. So with that said, our first panel is going to be oh my goodness, I lost it. How do you say it, Teresa? Not Teresa, but
Teresa.
Teresa. Not Teresa.
It's okay. It's okay.
But yeah, Teresa. I got
it. Teresa, here you go. How are you?
Thank you, Teresa. Good. And we also have Nora, and we have Jessica, and we have, oh my goodness, I'm gonna say Doris, but listen, from this point on, you are gonna hear me call her Apostle Brown. And I hope you don't mind this, Apostle Brown, because because that is just, she is just someone who has been so close to me, and such a big part of my life and ministry. And so that's why I refer to her as Apostle Brown, because that's who she is to me. I just cannot bring myself to call her by her first name. So with that said, Teresa, we'll start with you. Teresa, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask everyone the same question. Please tell us chapter in Outlive Labels and tell us how it helped you and how it helped others when you opened up about the issues that you discussed in your chapter.
Well, my chapter is called Pain. My pain positioned me for purpose, and my chapter is about friendship, family, business, and God. And I feel that those are a lot of things that people struggle with when God is taking you to another level. And I feel that opening up about basically a friendship that kind of went left over money. Um, a long time friendship, opening up about that is something that a lot of people go through. It's a very familiar topic. So I think that opening up about it, a lot of people could relate to it.
Thank you for that. Norja, I'm going to ask you the same.
Yes.
So tell us about your chapter and how it helped you and help others by opening up issues that you discussed.
Well, I'm excited about my chapter. My chapter it talks about better off dead. And to me, it was mind blowing because just hearing it, better off dead, you're not understanding what had transpired, how I came into the world, and I came in with a defect, but God took that defect and he turned around and he made me to be what he had designed for me to be. And he made those disabilities abilities. And by me opening up this issue, my disabilities could no longer destroy my abilities. So people that were, I was told, let me go back, I was told that I was better off dead because I was sickly. And so this has blessed a lot of people that have gone through sickness. And I encourage them to let them know that, listen, you don't have to die in this. You can live, just die to your flesh.
Love it. Thank you so much for that. Norja, go ahead and tell us about the chapter.
Thank you. And, first I would actually like to celebrate you, Dr. Mary Holmes, your visionary capacity and all collaborators on this panel today. So I am Dr. Norja Cunningham, licensed marriage and family therapist. The theme of this OTL collaboration is triumph over trauma, or trauma to triumph. So I know this topic well as a clinician and a human being who's lived a few years on this earth and during this pandemic. This pandemic has shaken the very core of humanity's perception of safety and trust. Now more than ever, we need all healers, doctors, clinicians, etc. on deck. This pandemic is highlighting new and unresolved fears within humanity. Times like this present an opportunity for people to face their trauma. On a positive note, and clinically speaking, trauma is treatable. Now, one can be whole and live an abundant life after experiencing trauma. I must highlight the scripture, those with sound thoughts, you will keep in peace because they trust in the Lord. Now, personally, I know traumatic grief for my specialization due to the abrupt death of my father from cancer when I was 10 years old. 1 week we were laughing. The next week he was in the hospital and had gone on to be with the Lord. Very similar experience to individuals going through the pandemic that have lost loved ones. And I also have gone through cultural trauma as a Black female reared in an urban city. I must acknowledge my experiences not compared to my foremothers and forefathers, and I'm so grateful for their sacrifices that they made. Because of them, I am. I have also experienced secondary traumatic stress or compassion fatigue due to hearing trauma narratives from that clients have resiliently lived through horrific and unimaginable events. Now I am well. I experienced the secondary traumatic stress early on in my clinical career, and I consider it like a mental health vaccine, so to speak. So all of these experiences have led to my own healing journey from trauma. I am triumphant through trauma. For that reason, I know we can live without fear because God has not given us power. God has given us power, love, and sound minds. Therefore, today, I believe that we can get through this pandemic not being ruled by fear. So today, I pray that we live lives that are preserved, minds and emotions are stabilized, and healthy relationships are strengthened. And God gets all the glory. And if you would like to connect professionally or purchase my therapeutic products or even this book, because I still have a few remaining that can be signed, you can go to my website, necllc.website. Again, necllc.website. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. You can go ahead and put that in the chat too, just in case anybody missed that. All right, Jessica, tell us about your chapter and how it inspired you and impacted you and others that read your chapter as well. Oh, you're still muted. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, so hi everyone. So the title to my story, I named it I'm telling my story. And and the reason I named it is because uh, for so many years I have bottled up everything inside of me that I was not able to express. So I wanted people to know everything I had gone through, and that growing up, I had forget it. I went through a lot, a lot. I experienced a lot of rejection, fear. I've been bullied. I've been molested, raped. You name it, I went through it. I've done drugs. I've been through a lot, So I told my story because I want people to know that where I came from and what it has done to me. And, it caused a lot of shame, a lot of insecurity, a lot of fear, anger, and bitterness. So, you know, I, I, the way I overcame it is, I had to surrender my will, everything to God. I had to allow Him to go deep within me, to do that work inside of me, to free me from all that. So, it was a process. It was a long journey. It was layer by layer by layer. He had to remove those wounds and layers of hurt and bitterness and anger. It took a while, but to God be the glory. As I surrender my will, to His and allow Him to do the work inside of me, it freed me. It freed me, and it helped me to see myself differently. Now, I've discovered who I am in Christ. I walk in my authority. I walk in the fullness of God, although I'm still a work in progress, but, and I've come a long way, but He's done a lot. God has really freed me from, so many things. And, as a result, my family, friends, others have seen, the transformation that God has done to me. And so for me, that's like, it's such a joy and encouragement, because for others to see what God has done, it tells them the story that if He did it for me, He can do it for them.
Thank
He
you.
can do it for them.
Thank you.
So yeah, that's my story.
Awesome. Awesome. So now listen, I know y'all have probably come into a common thread amongst the stories that you've already heard. It doesn't matter who comes on board to be co-authors. These books always have this common thread of faith, this common thread of just resiliency, this common thread of being able to overcome and bounce back. And really, it all comes back to the foundation of faith. And I'm just so grateful, because every time, every group of authors, it just seems like there's as different as the stories might be, there's always something that just ties everyone's story in with the next. It's like this weaving that happens in the book. And I get the privilege of, reading them as you all submit the chapters. And if you all could see my reactions when I'm reading the stories, and you probably heard, like, when I do the one-on-one calls with you guys, you probably hear what I probably have in private when I'm reading the stories. You kind of get that reaction all over again, but you probably hear the exact excitement in my voice when I get to you all, and I can tell you how your stories have impacted me. And once again, I just want to say thank you to you all. Thank you to the guests who are in the Zoom room tonight. I just want to acknowledge you all tonight. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. You all could have been doing anything with your Friday night. Listen, I went back and forth. Should I have it on a Thursday night, Saturday afternoon? I didn't know, but I went for the Friday night. And I just thank you all for sacrificing your time to be with us and to hear these stories, and for registering and actually showing up. There's some amazing things that I have in store, some giveaways at the end, and there's also some surprises for the co-authors. So I just want to put that out there so y'all can get ready for some surprises that I have for you all. And I'm just so grateful for everybody in the room. I just want to give a special shout out to my co-hosts, Norja and Shamika. Thank you all for helping me behind the scenes. I wanted to just publicly say thank you before we go into the next panel and acknowledge those authors that just came in. Thank you so much for joining us. We are about to go into our next panel, which consists of Dorothy Michelle, Jolie Antoinette, and yep, and just those three for now. Dorothy Michelle, Jolie, and Antoinette. Actually, if you don't mind, Janice, can I ask you to join this panel, this next panel coming up? I'm going to ask you to join in with them. So we'll have Dorothy Michelle, Jolie, Antoinette, and Janice in that order. So starting with Dorothy Michelle, who is my cousin, y'all, first cousin, who's actually my closest cousin. We grew up as like best, you know how you have that cousin that's your best friend? Well, Michelle was that for me when I was growing up in South Carolina. Yes, I'm a Southern Belle at heart. So starting with you, Dorothy Michelle, tell us about your chapter and how you're telling your story helped you and helped others.
Okay, the title of my chapter is She Fights. It talks about me as a person fighting through life to survive emotionally, spiritually, and at one point physically. At one point in my life, my family was called into the hospital and told that I wasn't going to make it through the night. My heart was operating under 25%. My lungs were filled with fluid because my kidneys shut down. I was destined for the grave. But God, I continued to fight. I was in a box and I could hear the prayers of the saints, and I fought because I knew on the other side was purpose. So I titled my chapter, She Fights. And it's just a glimpse into a fragment of my story, because the fight isn't over, the fight continues. I continue to fight through low self-esteem from being rejected by my village. I was a child that was loved. I was spoiled by my father. I had all older brothers, but there was no room for femininity. I learned to be tough and rough around the edges. And that led to some adult insecurities, and I had difficulty connecting and forming relationships because I carried that childhood rejection from my village. And that's why I strive and I work with children in the ministry, because the village is important. It shapes a child, it molds a child, and it can create adult insecurities that a child has to fight through. You always remain that broken little girl or that broken little boy inside. And so that's mainly what my chapter was about, because I grew up a preacher's kid. Both my parents, my mother and my father, were preachers. My father is now a bishop, and I saw the underbelly of the church. I saw the deception, the hypocrisy. As my father tried to lead, I saw people fight against leadership, fight against God, fight against God's vision, and it left for a while a bitter taste in my mouth. So I had to fight to regain my faith. So all my life, I've had to fight for some purpose, for someone. And I discovered after going to law school, after getting 3 other degrees, after getting married and that marriage falling, after my health failed, I discovered I had fought so many years for everyone else, but I never fought for myself. And it was in my mess, I found my message. It was in my lowest point, I found myself in Christ. So I learned that telling my story is freedom. I used to hide from my failures. I hid my inadequacies from my friends because I felt like if they saw who I was, my flaws, they wouldn't want to be around me. So I wore a mask. I wore many masks. And I learned through telling my story how to strip away at those masks. because it's the mess that's in me that's the ministry that God wants to use. And by me telling my story, I was able to gain confidence, and I was able to embrace myself as a whole, because I was able to embrace my failures. I was able to embrace my success. I was able to embrace my insecurities, my inadequacies, and all of that made me the child of God that he's using to reach so many other broken people. So she fights. And I have a nonprofit called See Me, the Fighting Butterfly, because that night when they thought I was going to die, I was diagnosed with lupus nephritis. My mother died of lupus, and I told myself that I was breaking that curse, starting with me. My daughter would not have to fight this devil. Why? Because when God took me that night in the ICU, I died. That old shell died. And that person that came back to life was a new one, and it was revived with purpose. So she fights, guys.
Wow. Okay, listen, after that, I feel like we need to have the commercial break, but we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna go right to you, Jolie. Jolie, tell us about your chapter. Oh my goodness. Tell us about your chapter, how it helped you and help others who have read it.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you, Dr. Mary Holmes. I really truly appreciate everything you've done, not just with this volume, but volume 1. And I'm looking forward to volume 3 coming out. And so I actually wrote on trauma, triggers, yet triumphant. My story was pretty much piggybacking off of volume 1. In volume 1, I talked about some past pains and hurts that were placed upon me based on negligence of other people and their misconception about what it transformed due to a misguided act in my personal life. And so as I thought upon that chapter, I began to analyze the data I had and then basically compare that, or do a comparison to, as Ms. Cunningham stated, the global pandemic that we all experienced last year was brought about a lot of trauma, I believe, for everyone, whether it is, due to loss, learning how to stay in home, self-sheltering, experiencing COVID as I did personally myself. That was a battle I'd never experienced before. It took me 5.5 to 6 weeks to literally recover from it. So just the trauma behind recovering from that was an experience within itself. So I would say my writing my chapter truly helped me process some painful moments and experiences that I yet to really truly unpack and cover in terms of me looking at it from a spirituality standpoint and really facing those daunting, lurking, dark moments that I just not taken time to take time to look at. And so I did that through a personal journey of prayer, seeking God. I love to journal. That's one of the things that I encourage the women and readers in my last chapter, and I did the same in this particular chapter as well. But not only seeking God and praying through it, my truly learning what the word trauma meant, because there's a duality in meaning. You can look at trauma from a standpoint of a physical, emotional state, or even from a physical, harmful state where someone is actually dealing with actual trauma, which I experienced both, as I mentioned, not just the physical trauma I've experienced through COVID, but also some of that emotional trauma that was placed upon me due to those labels that were actually placed prior to. And so as I unpacked that and walked through my healing process, I was not only encouraged to push past my own past traumas, I was also able to encourage others to push past their trauma, their stressors, their dis-ease, and dart toward their destiny for most powerful purpose, positioning themselves to prosper in a powerful way. And so that's my chapter. I think all you all have just brought a great word this evening, and I believe it all is aligned. Thank you again.
Thank you for that. Listen, you're a woman after my own heart. I love some good alliteration. Listen. All right, let's go to, who's next? Antoinette, please share with us, tell us about your chapter and how it helped others.
Well, good evening, everyone. My chapter was called I can't and I will. And the reason why I named my chapter that is because growing up, I always had a dream of becoming either attorney or have my doctorate's degree in criminal justice. And I was always told, I can't do this, I can't do that. And these are by, teachers as well. Growing up hearing that, you start thinking that you're not going to be able to do what you want to, what your desire is to do. So, I went to community college and failed out the first semester. And because, it wasn't bottled in my head that, everybody kept saying, I can't, and I can't, you can't do this, you can't do that. So that, just stayed with me. So, after a couple of years went by, I, sat down and tried to figure out, what I wanted to do with my life. I needed to, do something with my life because I knew I had a purpose, but I just didn't know what my purpose was. So I ended up, going to NCC again and meeting an advisor that basically changed my life. She was there for me. She was like, besides my family, she pushed me every step of the way. And, years later, she's still in my life. And, she helped me apply for my undergrad degree. She helped me apply for both of my master's degrees. And she helped me apply for doctorate programs in law school. So I'm just waiting for those. But I just wanted to write my story for individuals that think that they can't do something that they always dreamt of doing because of everybody in their ear telling them they can't do that. And that was my story.
Thank you so much for that. Oh my goodness. Listen, y'all making me relive these chapters all over again. I'm reminded just hearing your stories again, like how much I enjoyed just the different stories. You all came from so many different backgrounds and so many different angles. And I love the variety, but again, I love that common thread where it doesn't matter what you've gone through in life, no matter where you've been, you can find something in this book that will speak to your situation. All right, my sister, Janice, listen, I got to pause right here before you come on. This is my biological sister, y'all. And there's a whole story behind that. We don't have time to go into it tonight. That's a whole nother Zoom conference in and of itself. But we have our other sister, our other biological sister on, Tracy Valentine. If you see her, I don't know, let me see if you have your video on. I don't know if you have your video on, but Tracy, me and her, we're like twins. We look like twins. You see her, you'll see her picture if you see her profile photo on the Zoom call. But Tracy is our biological sister as well. We all share the same father. And I am a Valentine, y'all. I am a Valentine, and it is going to be legally changed. My maiden name will be legally changed this year. I'm already speaking it, but I already got the paperwork, so it's going to happen. So anyway, without further ado, my biological sister, who I just absolutely adore. We have so much in common with all of these books and writing and creativity. So go ahead, Janice. Tell us about your chapter. Y'all hear the love in my voice? Listen, I'm sorry. I'm just y'all. I just be myself all the time. Professionalism is out the door. Janice, go ahead and tell us about your chapter and how it impacted you and inspired others. Your chapter is very different now. I love it, but tell us about it.
My like so many women here on this panel, sadly, I share a lot of the same background, the same traumas. But the reason why I decided to write something that was a complete departure from that is because that's another story. I'm working on a retirement project that I'm starting, Madam Peony, because I realized that one of the things that I missed out on as a child was having a mother who was present. And I realized that also a lot of people have a grandmother who is not present in their lives. And there are so many things that we are not prepared for when we move beyond the age of 18 and are thrust into adult life. And we have very few skills because we didn't have somebody who used to sit down and have those heart-to-heart talks and have these precious grandmother sayings. I have friends, they have hilarious Ethiopian and Trinidadian sayings. Most of them have some cousin in it, but they're these wonderful sayings that have been passed through, and they will like just, they fall off the tongue. My grandmother was in Christ since pretty much the time she walked out the womb. So she didn't have any salty sayings that she was passing on to me or any of my or any of our children. She would pass on plenty of scripture. In fact, God bless her, when she was trying to secure my soul, I was in the military, and my grandmother would send me these little cartoon pamphlets, and they always ended up with somebody burning in hell because they didn't find Jesus. And I really wish I had saved them because I'm like the worst granddaughter for that. I am both an atheist and a Jew, so I have a religion that I don't believe in. I have a religion, but I don't believe in God. So again, some things in common with you guys, some things that are different. My essay is titled Assetitude and Strategic Selfishness. And I write about money because as an African American being poor, we didn't have money. So if you don't have money, you don't have anything to manage. You get it, it's going out on a bill. If you have a little bit of mad money, it's going out on a lollipop. But we don't have money to manage. And so part of the reason why we don't have this generational wealth is because our wealth was going in buying kids, sneakers and paying the rent and struggling with food. So I'm taking a tactic that money is important. And I write about loaning money because we all get into traps of loaning money to a friend, loaning money to a relative. And so many of us, the money that we loan, we never see that money again. We loan that money with the most altruistic, the most sincere intentions. We're doing it, y'all doing it because God would want you to do this. And you know it is the right and moral thing to do. And I am here to tell you, whoa, think about it before you do it, because not every person who is in need is a good credit risk to you. And if you are trying to support yourself and make a way for your children, however good morally it is, your first moral responsibility is truly to yourself and it's truly to your family. Because if you end up wearing weeds, you can't help anybody. So I really encourage everyone to introduce young people and young adults to the essay that I wrote because I think it's going to help people over time. And I was raised, in the church as well. And one thing was never addressed for me. And so I read this book by a minister. She wrote a book about forgiveness. And one of the great things she said in her book was, you don't forgive people because you have to, basically. You forgive them for your own self. And by forgiving them, it doesn't mean that they get to abuse you again. So this is a really important takeaway, that you can say no to people. Sometimes it doesn't make you less moral. It doesn't make you a bad Christian. Sometimes saying no to people is the right thing to do for you. So don't loan your rent money.
I love it. Listen, let me tell you why I love this and why it's just like embedded in this book. And I think I purposely put it like towards the middle so people can't skip, they're gonna see it one way or another. I think a lot of times we forget about emotion, not emotional. It's easy for us to focus on and see the emotional abuse. It's easy for us to see physical abuse, but there's also financial abuse. And a lot of times when we are taken advantage of, it stems from trauma when we're easily taken advantage of, or when we can't say no. Or a lot of that stems from the spirit of rejection. And because we have this fear of rejection and we want to be accepted, a lot of times we make bad financial decisions. And I don't know if I told you this. I don't think I did, because it's just still stirring in my mind, but I know I'm going to do it, because once I set my mind to do something, those of you that know me, y'all probably know it's going to be out probably in the next few months. But I'm doing an Outlive the Labels Money Matters edition, where we can outlive the poverty, where we can outlive financial abuse, where we can outlive financial mistakes, things that we've done over the years that have, put a blemish on our credit or on our name, or whatever the case might be. I'm going to bring in some experts, some financial professionals who can give us advice on money matters, because a lot of the conversations, they tend to be uncomfortable, or you might feel as if a lot of the information will go over your head. But I'm telling you, knowledge is key, it's power. And once we're armed with this kind of information, it can help us to outlive those other labels that we don't often talk about, which is broke, busted, disgusted, all of that.
I have to say amen to that.
What's that?
I said, I have to say amen to that.
All right, we got an amen out of Janice. Listen, now, I saw somebody put in the chat that they have a hard time saying no. And I saw that somebody else said saying no is a form of self-care. I love it. Saying no is a form of self-care. And Jessica, who said, I have a hard time saying no, that was me. Oh my goodness. But like I said, that's another conference. We got 2 more conferences to do to talk about some of these other things. That was me. Oh my, how many can relate to that? Y'all can put it in the chat or give a thumbs up, because listen, I think a lot of us, if not all of us, have probably been there at some point or another. Whew, okay, let's take a breath. All right, so now we're gonna hear from Shamika Wright. She's gonna tell us how the book impacted her. She's going to give us a testimonial about the book. And so I'm going to turn it over to her. Oh my goodness, before we turn it over to her, I developed a people-pleasing spirit. Somebody wrote that in the chat. Michelle wrote that in. I developed a people-pleasing spirit. That was me too. Oh my goodness, me. How many of us had to get over being people-pleasers? Is it just the 2 of us? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, we all family here. We can all relate. We got delivered. We got delivered. We are free tonight. We are free tonight. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Shamika Wright, and she's going to share with us a testimonial for Outlive the Labels Volume 2.
Good evening, everyone. First, allow me just to I have to do this. I know we're not in a church function, but I have to acknowledge Pastor Mary Holmes, my first lady. She's just a wonderful woman. And so I just want to honor her on tonight as well for all that she does. This is just amazing. The platform is amazing. So not to take up too much time, but reading through all of the chapters was absolutely amazing. Let me tell you, if I was writing a review for the book, this is what I would say. From trauma to triumph shows what can happen when you face your fears, take a chance, and open yourself up to life, love of God, and love of yourself, and the possibility of a new direction. I quoted some of you on within this review. Miss Yvonne Bowman, I love what you said. You said the journey from trauma to triumph is one that begins with continual steps of courage, one step at a time. Not every step or decision will work out perfectly. Do not expect it to, but be gentle with yourself and allow yourself to deal with the process, the pivotal moments, and unique people in your life. Allow yourself to recover and release it so you can recalibrate yourself to who God truly intended for you to be. Throw away the regrets, the shame, and start anew, one step, one day at a time, and one crisis at a time. You've got this. Miss Jolie Blount, I love when you said afflictions are a part of life. It's not what happens to us, but largely our responsibility on what we do with what happens to us. And D. Michelle Bennett, you had mentioned we spend so much time fighting for everything and everyone else. We neglect to fight for ourselves. Can we just pause? Can we have a Selah moment on that? Because I know for me, that's one of my issues is I will fight for everybody else. I can encourage everybody else, and then I can't even I can't fight for me, and I'm not encouraging myself. But look, we overcoming today, right? We're going from trauma to triumph. Amen. And so then, as I continued to read through the chapters, it was just so much that was sticking out. So First Lady was like, listen, don't go too far into it. But I just had to quote some of you on today. And I love, is it Teresa? She said, don't let failure talk you out of your future. If you desire to be an overcomer, to triumph over life issues of anger, temptation, jealousy, bitterness, lust, worry, fear, disappointment, or death, I am telling you, if you have not read this book, get this book. This is the book for you. I want everybody who is listening, if you're not an author, I want you to go out, buy this book, keep it on your bookshelf, not just for yourself, but for somebody else, because you can help someone get free with the authors from this book. And that is my book review for all of you beautiful ladies today.
Oh, thank you. See, I told y'all. Listen, we got a good group here. This is a powerful group of women. And what I love about what Shamika just did, and I wish we had time to, give some quotes from every chapter, because there are some nuggets in there that if you extract it, oh my goodness, like if there's just so much to learn. There's so many life lessons. And some of you, I remember at the beginning of this project, you all were shaking in your boots writing these chapters. You were like, I'm not a writer. When you just heard those quotes from these stories, sound like authors to me. Like, well, y'all already authors, best-selling authors at that. But there is a natural gift that every one of you have that I don't think that some of you knew was there. Am I right or am I right? So it's always
You're right.
it's always been there. And Shamika, you were actually a co-author in volume 1. And I remember you were like, like I'm not an author, but you have books in you, books. I mean, nonfiction, fiction, so much variety. And she can tell y'all better than anybody else. I will pull it out of you. I will make somebody author. Like, look, have you ever thought about writing a book? And I just love the fact that you all stepped up and you did it. And I just want to say congratulations to everybody. You all did it. You became best-selling authors through this project. And I hope that you take it to the next level. For those of you that don't have other books, some of you were already authors, but those of you that hadn't written any other books, let this be the catalyst that takes you to the next step to write your own full book. This book is ours together, so it's near and dear to my heart, but I want you to have your own too. So, and if you want me to write a forward or something, I'll write a forward. But all right, so anyway, I'm gonna move on. So all right, we're gonna go to the next panel of co-authors. We have Yvonne, we have Natasha, we have Cynthia, and we have Florence in the room. And I want you all to take the time in that order to tell us about your chapter and how it helped you and help others, starting with Yvonne. The mic is yours.
My camera's doing something funny. Oh boy.
Oh, you sound good. You sound good.
Okay. Well, my name of my chapter is The 3 R's of Becoming. It's a condensed snapshot of what happened in a work environment situation dealing with sexual harassment. When I look back at it, it's actually the time that I decided to stand up rather than allow the situation to define who I was. Because it had happened several times before, molestation in one way or another, or sexual abuse, harassment on the job, or if it happened when I was a kid in different types of interactions. Long before the Me Too movement and having a Me Too title, while I don't ascribe to everything that they do, they have done an excellent job of shedding light on the fact that women have so much to offer. We have so much to say. And that spirit that we often have to push up against when it shows up in a physical form to bully us, to silence our voices, is a real thing that we have to conquer. And like Jolie said, she picked up her conversation from volume 1. I did the same thing. In volume 1, I talked about being invisible. So this is me continuing that conversation now, having gotten to a point where I realized I'm not invisible. El Rohi, who always sees, never blinks, sees me all the time. I'm not invisible. Therefore, my voice does count. I'm not disposable, and I have something to say. I wrote it to encourage those people who've gone through that journey, who walked through that journey, who are still going through that journey. I like that one of the synonyms for journey is passage. So if we look at what we go through as a doorway through which we are to learn, to grow from, and then to help others to grow and learn from, I think we can do something with that experience. I'm a PK, got the whole church thing going on like a lot of the writers. So it's kind of hard not to preach while you write. But I think it's Luke 11 that talks about when a spirit has been cast out of a house and it's gone and it's sent to dry and weary places, that it looks for 7 spirits worse than the other. In my chapter, I hope to give people who have been in my shoes or something similar a few tools for their tool belt or their toolbox to now say, okay, when I'm in this situation, this is how I can look at it. There's an exercise at the end of that snapshot in my chapter to help them do that. And if not that, then maybe it will lead to the thing that works for them, because I believe in, if it's not the thing, it's the thing that leads to the thing these days.
Thank you so much for that. And yeah, I just got to give a shout out real quick to Yvonne and Jolie. They were in volume 1. They came over to volume 2. Also, Cynthia. We'll get to her. Actually, yeah, Cynthia's coming up in a couple of minutes. But Cynthia, Yvonne, Jolie, they were all a part of volume 1. They came over to volume 2. I don't know if y'all gonna do volume. I don't know if I'm gonna do a volume 4, because the next one after volume 3 might be the money conversations one. And then I want to do an Outlive the Labels teen edition to help young people tell their stories and help them to heal as well. So I just wanted to just throw that in there, shameless plug. All right, now next we have Natasha. Natasha, tell us about your chapter and how it helped you and helped others by opening up and sharing your story.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Mary Kay. This opportunity was so beautiful, and I really appreciate it. Miss D. Michelle, I just want to say, from one warrior to the next, thank you. You encouraged me. Go ahead, butterflies. But basically, my chapter just talked about, there were so many things to unpackage. And I remember I was dealing with, having a flare up, and I was totally sick. And one of my girlfriends came and said, Natasha, do this thing. And I'm like, no, I don't feel well. But I wanted to speak on so many different areas that affected me personally, and people that I knew, individually. And I wanted to talk about those things that were so personal to me. So I couldn't hone in on one thing. So I wanted to encourage and uplift as many people who would read it during that time. But one of the things that I wanted to share was to find joy in your pain and dance in the rain. Like, I wanted to be so poetic with it, and I feel like it flowed, and it was so beautiful to me. So I was so grateful to finally be able to just share those intimate things and share that vulnerability and have people say, you know what, oh my gosh, because so many people see me and they're like, oh, she's like so wonderful and she takes good care of all her kids, and they don't know this side. So thank you. It was a great opportunity.
Thank you for taking the time to open up. Listen, if y'all read Natasha's chapter, it was so poetic. It was like reading poetry. And so I just want to thank you for being creative and sharing your story and opening up. And I hope that you and Michelle have connected, you Lupus Warriors. So I hope that you all connected. If you haven't already, connect. All right, Cynthia, tell us about your chapter. Oh my goodness. Wait, before you say anything, when Cynthia submitted her chapter, I was like, I had no clue. Like, now, me and Cynthia, we connected before volume 1 and volume 2. So we already knew a little bit about each other. But when I read this second chapter that you submitted for volume 2, I just fell in love with her even more. This woman is so phenomenal. She's so powerful. She sang at my at the in-person conference that I had a couple of years ago. Came there. I think you had broke your foot and you still came all the way from New York into Connecticut. And she is just near and dear to my heart, and the way her story reads and the story that she has to tell. And this woman is a retired NYPD detective, and just humble and just has a beautiful spirit. Anyway, I just had to, shout you out a little bit. But Cynthia, go ahead and share with us a little bit about your chapter and how it impacted you and others.
Well, thank you, Mary, for that beautiful intro. And girl, I believe you are so dope to me. Okay. And I love, right, Shamika? And I just love everything that you're doing. And since I've met you, all I can say is wow. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of Outlive the Labels. And when I decided to jump into volume 2, I was a little bit stuck. Like, what do I say? What do I share this time? And then I thought about, well, because there's a children's book and to the series for the Songbird, and the concept with that, and it led me to this chapter. And I thought about my journey from a little girl growing up in Brooklyn and throughout East New York and Brownsville and the projects, and the journey from being a little girl who, the discovery of, oh, okay, I sing, I can sing, and I was good at school, and you're popular, and everything is so wonderful, and you're thinking that, okay, I have this thing that I can do, and everybody's going to celebrate it, but that wasn't the case. And it started at home. It started at home, and that led to rejection and missed opportunities, and feeling at times like you were stripped and constantly stripped. And then, the layers of rejection, and things just got deeper and deeper. And then, passing through those moments where life just got so it got darker and darker. And so in writing this chapter, you're trying to figure out, how do I put all of that in one chapter? But I wanted to take the reader from the confident little girl sounding off, cheering and happy and life is great, through the now grown woman who became an officer, a mother of two children by the time I was 22, tried to take my life so many times before that. And, just coming out of child abuse and domestic violence, and it goes on and on, the labels, outliving those labels for real. And now realizing that this was no longer something I wanted to use, because being a mom, being an officer, and really settling into the life that I chose, because we make choices. And so what I wanted to do with this was, if you're a young woman or young person, don't wait to sound off, don't wait to use your gift, to use your voice. And I'm not just talking about singing, I'm talking about whatever that thing is. Open up your mouth. We know, as believers, and no, I'm not a PK. I don't come from that background. my story is totally different, and that came later. But I'm grateful. I am so grateful for the Word of God, and that is what I was able to weave into my life, and the changes that came. Once that happened, yes, I went through a divorce. That was another label. And how do you deal with that as a believer, grandmother, and but I also became all of these things that Mary was just, the things that she's talking about. And I discovered a new way to use my voice. But if you're a young person, don't wait, sound off now. That's the whole thing. If you're an older person and you haven't, open up your mouth. It's time. It doesn't matter. So my thing was trying to take, it doesn't matter who you are, male, female, young, old. When it's your time, it's your time. Whatever that thing is, whatever it is, do it. And so that's what I wanted to share in this chapter. Like, sound off and let's do it. Do it afraid if you have to. Just begin to open up your mouth, and if you're a believer, I know God will fill it. God will use you in an amazing way. And so whatever your gifts and your talents are, release them, because there are people attached to the purpose that's inside of you, to all that wonderfulness that's inside of you. There are people waiting for that. So yeah. Wow. So thank you, Mary, again. Thank you again and again for this time.
Thank you. Listen, I'm glad you made comments.
You are all phenomenal.
What's that?
I said, and you ladies are all you authors, co-authors, you're all so phenomenal. I love reading it. I love seeing your faces and hearing the stories and the journeys. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, that's what this is all about. Like, when we come together, we actually get to see each other, support each other, connect with each other, love on each other, and then the guests that are in the room, you all get to put a face with the chapters that you read and the stories that you read. It puts a face to the story and it makes us connect even further. And I love what you just said. You know, there are people attached to the purpose that's inside of you. I just said something similar to that earlier when I spoke for a women's conference earlier today. You know, where I said, you know, whose deliverance is being held up because you refuse to say yes? You know, whose healing is being delayed? And you know, somebody's deliverance is locked up in your yes. And so when you hold back, when we're fearful, we have to start to realize it's so much bigger than us. And that's one of the things that really helped me to step outside of myself and start to share my story and be transparent, because I realized it's not about me. It is so much bigger than me. And because I was like, listen, I've been sharing my story, but I was afraid to put videos on my Instagram or on Facebook. I was afraid of doing videos, y'all. But somebody was like, look, we need to see your content. We need to see the videos. We need to hear more of your story. And I'm like, but I know y'all don't believe me. People tell me I'm pretty all the time. I think I'm cute. But for the most part, I don't feel like I look that great on camera. You know, I got one eye that's a little smaller than the other one. You know, I don't do well with fake lashes. One always kind of hang a little bit lower. I don't feel like I do that well on camera, but I push past that fear and I start doing cameras. I mean, getting on camera and doing videos like crazy. And y'all have probably been seeing them. I had to step outside of myself and say, get over yourself, chick. There are people that need to hear your story. It's one thing to read it. They need to hear it. They need to see you. They need to hear the passion in your voice. And I got over that quick. So I just wanted to, be a little transparent. I know y'all don't believe me, but I was really scared. So when she said, do it afraid, do it. It's like, and I said this earlier, and we're going to get to Florence, and I know she's just going to bring it home because this woman is a preacher's preacher. But but I'll just share this real quick. When I shared earlier, it takes this, whether you are fearful, whether it's fear or faith, both require that you believe in something that you can't see. You can't see whatever you're fearful of. It's an unknown factor that's out there that you're afraid of. You don't know if you're going to fail. You don't know if you're going to fall on your face. You don't know if people are not going to like you. You don't know if people are going to, you don't know. And so you're afraid because you don't know. But if you have faith, that takes you another step higher. That takes you to the next level. And it's like, okay, but what if you fly? And I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, Florence, Lady Flo. Oh my goodness. I love this. Oh my goodness. This is another songbird, y'all. Cynthia, this is your alter. This is your other.
Hi, everyone.
So Flo, go ahead and share with us what you're about and how it inspired you, impacted you, and how it inspired others.
All right. I'm not sure if you guys can actually hear me. I'm literally in a funeral right now. Sorry, literally at the last minute, I had to go into a funeral. But I'll give a quick synopsis because I was like, I can't miss tonight. I made a commitment, I made a vow, and that's one thing about me as a servant leader. I always try to stay committed to what I said that I'm gonna do. But I would say this, from my chapter, I was a young lady who went through major rejection, oppression, depression, one who was born out of wedlock, one who was told that I would never mount past an 8th grade graduation certificate, middle school certificate. And I'm now on my journey to literally within the next year have my official doctoral degree. I'm thankful to God. I never even thought of the day that I would even be in ministry. I've been now a minister for the last 5 years. I served my grandparents, Archbishop and Lady Gloria White. God has been real good to me. He has literally opened doors and taken me places that many said I would never go into, accomplish things, even as a psalmist, because I minister in song and preach and teach and I prophesy. But I've been blessed, wow, to have ministered for gospel greats, for inspirational greats. And even now in the field of education, the doors that are literally open for me to come speak, inner city youth and children all over the world, and the doors that are opening for me, I'm like, wow, God, you chose me out of all people. You chose me, a young lady who come from Bridgeport, Connecticut. I remember my major days of poverty, but I thank God that He rose me up from poverty. He brought me out of poverty. And now I'm living in Brooklyn, New York, getting ready to transition even career-wise. Like, I'm like, wow, God, there's some major dreams and aspirations that I'm even acquiring as I talk right now. But if there's one thing that I can leave and can say is Philippians 4:13 has been my mantra, that indeed I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And another is that the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one that endures to the end. That's my mantra. And I believe and I thank God that He has allowed me to go through and to grow through what I had to endure. I thank God that I don't have a sad story. I thank God that my story has enlightened somebody along the way, has encouraged someone's deliverance along the way. I thank God because there are some young people and older women and men that have reached out to me like, Flo, your life has literally been connected to our testimony. I'm like, wow, I know people who were literally strung out on drugs, alcohol, dealt with abuse and different things from being rejected in the church and being rejected in general, being misunderstood. And I thank God that He allowed my life to go through and to go through what I had to go through. And now I'm able to be the victor, not the victim. And I thank God for victory all over and in my life. And I thank God that as a witness, that I'm able to minister to so many countless people, that God is good and He can deliver you and bring you out from oppression. He can raise you up and bring you out from poverty. That's the kind of God that I serve. So in the midst of all that I had to endure, there's beauty in my brokenness. And my beauty has indeed begun to shine. I'm currently in a new phase of life where God is giving me great strength, great rejuvenation, and He's even birthing greater out of me. I thank you guys for these few fleeting moments and this time I was able to share. I'm so sorry I can't stay on a little longer. But I want to thank you, Dr. Mary, my big sister, for seeing something in me. And even the years ago of the times that we've talked, and it's now coming out of me. And I'm even getting ready now to produce my actual own book, my first book, my story of my life from birth to now my process. I love you all. Blessings to everyone. And I pray that my time with you has been greatly enlightening. God bless.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Listen, I heard another book in there. There's beauty in my brokenness. You need to go ahead and write that. I'm going to message that to you, Florence. And I just got to say thank you for taking the time and dedicating your time to be here with us tonight while you're at the funeral, still logging in. It would have been so understandable. I would have said, girl, I understand, but you made sure that you were on, and we just want to just say thank you. I just speak on behalf of all of us and say thank you for making that sacrifice. If you can still hear me, Florence. All right, listen. This is the end of our first portion of the conference, but now we're going to transition into some announcements, and then we're going to wrap up everything at the very end with a final question to all of the panelists, to all the co-authors that are still with us tonight. And we're going to do the raffle before we get to that as well. So starting with the announcements, and I'll let all of the co-authors know that we're not able to attend tonight as well. So you guys are going to get a second wave of this announcement when I send it out. But the first thing let me go, oh my goodness, oh, there it is, right in front of me. The first thing, I'm so horrible at being professional, y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all be like, how is she a lawyer? She's so silly. Listen, my husband, he's the now Apostle Brown, you can attest to this. He's the jokester in the relationship. He think I don't have a sense of humor. He thinks I have zero personality, that I'm always serious, and he's always cracking jokes, waking up already on 1,000, just bouncing off the walls like he just had a whole jug of Kool-Aid. And he think I don't have a sense of humor. I do. It's just that with him, I gotta balance him out. You know, we both can't be bouncing off the walls. So y'all get, anyway. The first thing is this award that I have for all of you, which is the Inspirational Service Award. And you will all receive this in the mail. And at the bottom of the award, you'll see that there is a new Outlive the Labels logo that is right there, called the Writing Collective. That's us, y'all. And it says that it's awarded to, and your name is going to go on that line. It says, in recognition of your inspiring contribution to Outlive the Labels 2021, and for joining the effort to eradicate and fight human trafficking across the globe. Thank you. And I don't know if you'll be able to see the logo, but you'll see it when you get it in the mail. So you'll receive this award. And also, to go along with copies of your book, you're also going to receive vision board posters to give to your readers, to your customers. You'll have this beautiful, I can't show it all on camera because it's so large, but you'll receive this Outlive the Labels vision board to go with your book, so you can give it as a gift to your readers, or you can sell it. I recommend selling them for $5 to $7 along with your book, if you choose to sell them, but they will come along with your award. And finally, I'm so excited to announce and tell you all that not only is there an opportunity for you to be featured on, if you agree to it, you know, you don't have to, no pressure, but there is an opportunity for every single one of you as co-authors to be featured on a national program with Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. He has invited you all to be guests on his show. I will send you his information and you can check out his page and see all the amazing things that he does. He is absolutely just, he's a multimedia magnet. Like, this man is like, he knows his stuff when it comes to media. He has a massive audience. It will give you massive exposure, and it's a great opportunity. And he has partnered with me to give you all an opportunity to be interviewed on his show. So I just want to give a shout out to Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. And you all will be featured in the next issue of Style and Grace magazine. Your photo and a short bio will be featured in honoring you all and featuring you all in this next issue. And guess who is on the cover of the next issue of Style and Grace? Can somebody guess? The first person to put it in the chat, if you can guess, is going to get the first prize. Who's on the next cover? Oh, I'm not. See, somebody told me to put myself on the cover, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Maybe after the 4th or 5th issue. So let's see who gets it right. If y'all have been following my page, y'all will know who that next Oprah does. Yeah, Oprah does do it all the time. Nope, it's not Dr. Bynum. She's going to be on a future. She got so busy, y'all. Dr. Medina is on the previous issue. So Dr. Bynum, though, is going to be on a future issue. We're going to do a special edition issue with her, but that's not the next one. It's a male. I'll give y'all a hint. I wish I had the Jeopardy music. Apostle Home. No, I'm not putting my husband on the cover, although he deserves it. Bishop Jakes, that is a, listen, Jolie, make it happen. Get your bishop to come get on the cover. Jolie attends the Potter's House. She's a minister there. And so listen, we got the plug. So get Bishop Jakes on the next cover. All right, let's see. No, it's not Lewis. Although he deserves to be on a cover. That's my boy. That's my brother. All right, y'all not getting it. So, okay. Do y'all remember earlier in the year when I interviewed an R&B artist? Do y'all remember when I interviewed a famous R&B artist? Donnell Jones. Who got it? So Donnell Jones is going to be on the next cover of Style and Grace magazine. The interview is already done. Everything is already set. The only thing that needs to be added is just a few more pieces of content, including the feature that is going to feature all of you guys. What I love about this next issue is that it's going to reach a broader audience, and it's going to expand Style and Grace magazine to where it's going to just get a little bit more reach. So it's not boxed in to one particular audience. And so this is going to give you all some additional exposure. So that's why I wanted to take the time to surprise you all with this feature, so that you know that this is going to just get your name and your brand and all the wonderful things that you all are doing. Your Instagram handles are going to be in there, your websites, all of that good stuff, because I wanted to make sure that I give you even more than what you bargained for when you signed up to be a part of Outlive the Labels. All right. And as more things pop up, you never know. I might just send y'all email and y'all get some more surprises. Who knows? I just like surprising y'all. So that is that. You'll get your certificate in the mail, your your award in the mail, along with your posters and the feature for Style and Grace. Once the magazine goes to print, I will send you all a free copy. All right. Sounds good. Who was surprised by that? Were y'all surprised by that? Did I do good with the surprise? Okay, all right, awesome. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And I will get you all the information with Shay Brown, and he will start to send out some dates and times for you to choose from to come on his show. He is so excited and he is happy to have you on. So I wish that he could have been on tonight, but he is so busy with his he's on vacation with his wife today. So, but he's always so busy doing interviews. He's absolutely amazing. All right, let's do some giveaways. Let's go into our first giveaway. So now the way we're going to do this, I'm going to need y'all to be fast with the chat, but the person to beat, because every time I do a conference or an event, this woman, and you already know what I'm about to say, this woman who is in this Zoom room, she is quick with the typing skills. Jessica, watch out for Jessica Donovan, because she is quick with the typing skills. All right. So let's go with the first one. Minister Shamika, what was the first one? All right. So the first one was, who has been, let's see who has been married the longest. We'll start with that one. Who has been married the longest? Put in the chat how long you have been married. I don't see no typing. 11 years. Okay. 11 years. Come on. Who's going to beat 11 years? I don't know. I've only been married. I think I'm on year number 6. I think 27. Uh-oh. 33. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's see if anybody going to beat Janice. Anybody been married longer than 33 years? 21. All right. All right. Going once, going twice, because we can't go all night. So, all right, 33 years. The award goes to Janice. So listen, these are the prizes. Every prize is going to be a copy of Outlive the Labels Volume 2. So if you get more than one, you get 2 copies. The more the merrier. And if you're a co-author, that's a double blessing, because you not only get that book, but you get to sell that book. So that's money. That is money right there. All right. So Janice wins the first one. Minister Shamika, you got to help me out. I forgot what the second question was. Let's see. Whose birthday is closest to today's date, to this event date? Whose birthday is the closest? So today is October. Excuse me. Oh, gosh. Today is August. My birthday's in October, so my mind must be on that. Today is August 27th. Whose birthday is closest to today? Now, when you say the 14th, Apostle Brown, is it August 14th? Oh, I can't keep up.
September.
Oh, September 14th. I'm not a math whiz, so somebody tell me which one is closest. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got birthday twins in the room. All right, I know April is not gonna win. I know April's not gonna win. I know July is not gonna win. I'm sorry, Jess. Let's see. So the closest I'm seeing is the 13th of September, and I don't see anything else. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. So we got a tie. So the two, okay, so Cynthia and Shamika's birthday is September 13th. And so far, that's the closest. Am I right? Do I have that right? Y'all help me out. Because that's okay. So September 13th is the closest. Apostle Brown, you was so close. You was right there. You was right there. All right. So oh, I gotta write these down. So Janice, Cynthia, and Shamika. Okay. All right. So the next one. Let's see. What was the next question, Shamika? What was the next one? Let's see. We'll do one more before we go in, and then we'll do some more at the very end. Let's see. So, you know what? We'll do this one. Who now? I'm located in New York, so I'm going to do the furthest away from me as far as distance is concerned. Who lives the furthest out? So type where you're from, where you are right now. It doesn't even have to be where you're from, but where you're located right now, because you know now with everything being virtual, you can be anywhere and just join in. So where you are right now, type it in the chat, and we'll see who's the furthest. See y'all right here next to me: Connecticut, Long Island, Delaware. Okay, Delaware, Maryland. Okay, see my geographical skills. I'm a little challenged right now. I can't tell if Delaware or Maryland's closer. Let's see. I think Delaware is a little bit closer. Let's see. Waterbury. No. Okay. South Carolina, Texas. Texas might be winning. Texas
does win.
Yeah, we have the what? 3 Texas attendees. Okay. Texas represent.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So Kasana. Okay. I see Kasana, and I see Jolie, of course. I know you in Dallas. And oh, Kasana, okay, I see you put yours twice. So you have Kasana and Jolie. All right. Now, Kasana, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. Can someone type my email in the chat, info@marykhomes.com? And if Kasana, if you can email me your address, and I can get you a book. I have everybody else's. I know where y'all live. I feel like y'all family got, we ship stuff back and forth all the time. So I know everybody else's. So Kasana, if you can send me, oh, I don't see it here. So I'm going to type it in, info@MaryKHomes. Just email me your address. And anybody else who wins that, I likely don't have your address, just send me an email so I can get the book to you. All right. We'll do some more at the end. I want to hear some more of these stories. I want to hear more inspiration from the co-authors. So we have the final panel question to all the panelists. And we have a little bit of time to work with after we hear from the panelists. And just to kind of add to the room, those of you who are tuning in, those of you who are guests, if you feel like you want to share something, if anything impacted you tonight, if anything really just resonated with you, I want to give you the opportunity at the end to share. So this will give you time to start to kind of, formulate your words in your mind. If there's anything that you want to share, we're going to do some random raffles at the end where it's not specific to any information. It's going to be a random number generator kind of thing. So don't worry if you didn't win anything yet. There's still an opportunity. But just for the guests, if you would like to share anything at the end, please keep that in mind that you are more than welcome to do so. We want to include you, the audience. All right, at this time, the final panel question. I'm going to ask everyone in 1 minute, share your favorite motivational quote and why that quote is important to you. Approximately 1 minute, please, because I want some time at the end for us to network a little bit too, if you want to. All right, so we'll start with let's see. Okay, some didn't, some are not here, so I'm gonna just make sure I don't do that. All right, so we'll start with oh my goodness, Teresa. Is it Teresa? Did I do it again?
I'm dropping my phone over here. Yes, Teresa.
Teresa.
Oh,
yes.
I'm going, it's okay.
I'm gonna say it like 20 times before I go to sleep tonight because
That's all right.
this is so bad that
That's all right.
All right, let's start with you. In 1 minute, share your favorite motivational quote and why that quote is important to you.
Well, I'm gonna just say the first line of what I started off my chapter with. That really speaks to me, and that's don't let failure talk you out of your future, because sometimes we get discouraged, sometimes you get downtrodden, sometimes things don't go as planned, and then we have to understand that sometimes failure is best for us, and then we end up seeing the good in that, because God is trying to teach us something in that, in failure. But you have to know that you do have a future and that God is leading you into your purpose. And that's what will push you. The pain that you experience in your failure will lead you to your purpose. And I find encouragement in that all the time. So when you're feeling down and out, know that your future is here. Know that you have purpose.
All right, come on, preach that thing. All right, Norja, come on, share with us your favorite motivational quote.
One of my favorite motivational quotes, my personal motto is to expand your psychological and relational capacity beyond your culture. Now, the reason why that is my favorite quote, and it's a quote I actually have on my website as well, is because I believe it exemplifies Christ. When we think about Christ, and we know that Christ is love, but for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Now, he gave his son for the entire world, whether people choose Christ or not. Now, I still choose Christ, and God gave us that privilege to be able to choose Christ. I see that as a space where God says, you know, I'm going to allow you the space and opportunity to be able to choose me, not that it's something that he wants to push on us, even though he did create us in his image. But the reason why I think that's so important is because I've had opportunities to meet people that were not Christian, that actually challenged what I thought and my own understanding of what the Bible was. So I had to speak to people that may not have had my belief system, but they knew the Bible. So it wasn't enough just to know the word, but am I implementing and living according to the word, which is so much more important? Is the scripture actually written in my heart, more so than just the implementation or the orating or audible, explanation of the word? So to me, that was an opportunity to be able to express Christ more fully, because Christ was able to have conversations with people that people didn't think he should have. He had conversations to be able to tell people about God, like lawyers, like people who are in the middle of infidelity, who rightfully, according to law, should have been held accountable. He was hanging on the cross and being crucified. Right next to him was a person who was considered a sinner and someone that was a thief. But he even told him he can be in paradise because he chose Christ, because he chose God at that moment. So I think that's the part that's so important, is that if we are coming from a place of love, and if just like the scripture says, we are able to bring a kind word, because that kind word is what turns away wrath, that we can actually entreat people in conversations more so than coming from the old perspective. Now, I am going to say this. I am a true Christian. I believe in heaven and hell. So it's not a discussion of discussions that have happened in the past, with regards to whether heaven or hell exists. I believe it exists. At the same time, it is not my place to judge. And so because of that, I believe that God has put us in a position to truly express love. And even this situation or this new era or circumstance that we're in now is an opportunity for the globe to be able to reconnect. Because even being able to send love over to, of course, we always talk about the scripture that says to pray for the peace of Israel and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. But even in Afghanistan, what's going on with them, and what kind of love can we express toward them, and even to send prayers their way? They may not believe what we believe, the majority of them, but there are also believers over there that are willing to literally put their life on the line in order to be able to say that they believe in Jesus Christ and implement it. And we have the freedom to. So I think there's a great level of privilege as American Christians that we have, that sometimes lends to us not always being willing to cross over the lines with regards to culture, whether that be ethnicity or religion, or political stances. If we can put all of those lines to the side in order to be able to see truly that Christ is love, and that he wants us to come from a place of kindness and to truly express the fruit of the Spirit. So expand your psychological and relational capacity beyond your culture. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. All right, we're gonna go in this order. We're gonna go with Janice, and then Jessica and Yvonne. Just go one right after the other. Janice, go ahead.
I say this to my customers every single day, and it is my own quote. I tell them that there are people who love you whom you have never met. I spend a lot of my day loving my customers, saying kind things about their annoying kids and yapping pets. I counsel them. I let them cry on my shoulder. I listen to their aches and pains. And people talk to me because they always have. They know that I can bear their distress, but also make their days brighter. And quite often, someone will tell me that you don't know how much what you're saying means to me. And I said, that's because there are people who love you who you have not yet met.
You can go right ahead and jump in, Jessica.
Okay. So this quote is pretty short. It's my turn? Is it my turn, Mary?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Jessica.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. I was trying to go from one to the next. So right after Jessica, Yvonne, you can go right after Jessica finishes. And then I'll kind of interject in between a few of you guys.
Okay. So this quote is pretty short. And it speaks a lot of that. It has a lot of value to it. So I'll make it quick. So the stage of your life, it's not the waiting room. It's the operating room. So this quote is important because it's really talking about the process. And this is where you learn the beauty of the process in the operating room. It's not about the destination, it's about who you are becoming. So it's pretty short, but it speaks a lot. That's it.
My favorite quote is from Marianne Williamson. It's one of people best know it as that little monologue that's done during Coach Carter when the young man speaks up. And he says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. We unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. It just always reminds me, show up in the room.
Show up in the room. All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. So now in this order, we'll go with Natasha, Cynthia, and Michelle. Share with us your motivational quote and why it's important to you.
My motivational quote is, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. And I remember listening to Maya Angelou. I had the privilege to see her speak, and it was so powerful. Like, I remember sitting there just like, wow, and being so young and hearing that, it was just so amazing, and it resonated with me till now. And it means, don't complain about things. If you can't change it, change how you think about it. And once you change your attitude, things will come together. It will get better for you, and you will be more positive. So I love that quote.
So I grew to love the butterfly, and I actually chose it as part of my logo a few years ago. And so this quote is actually mine. And when she thought her life was over, she transformed and unfolded perfectly. We know that transformation is not always cute and pretty. It can be a very dirty process. The unfolding perfectly is not because in using myself as an example because I'm perfect, but for me, it's because I serve a perfect God. And through, and what I've learned, come to know about myself um, through his eyes. And so I have to add Psalm 139:14 that says, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. And those two I've come to tie together. And I actually, when I am speaking to someone or coaching somebody along or just simply just trying to give them words of encouragement, I find that is so, for me, it's in tying that together, because speaking his word and bringing life, that's something that when I first heard it, I couldn't believe. It took me a while to believe it for me. And so once I was able to really hold on to it, I said I have to share it. And so whenever I feel led to share it, that is kind of my go-to. And so yeah, so that's what encourages me, what motivates me, and what I use to help others. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I'm next. My motivational quote, there is actually two. The first one is by Winston Churchill that says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And I often say there is no success without failure. And I chose those quotes because I am a firm believer that all things will work to the good for those who believe. And it's not about how many times you fail, or it's not about how many mistakes you make. It's about what you learn from those failures and those mistakes that makes you the greatest success. Because there's no one out here that's a billionaire or successful or well known without first have fallen in some way, that was first rejected or turned down, didn't get the bank loan, didn't get the stand-up comedian job, or didn't get the acting job they went out for. Everyone that's successful first failed. So I have to remind myself, I applied to law school 3 times and was rejected. But it was on that 4th time when God spoke to me and showed me where to go. That was when I was successful. If I had given up with that first no, where would I have been? As we've said tonight on many occasions, that there is someone's deliverance, someone's success, someone's survival hinges on us staying true to our process. So I have to remind myself that before my success, there's always going to be a point of failure. I just have to learn from the mistakes that I made. I have to learn from that failure in order for me to be the greatest success.
Wow. And you quoted my favorite scripture up in there, Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and are the called according to his purpose. I live by that scripture. When you look at all the things that I've been able to overcome, and I see how God worked out and how he flipped that thing, I'm a living testimony that Romans 8:28 is a lifestyle. I live by that. And I'm just so grateful for that. So, all right, to the last few authors. All right, Jolie, Antoinette, and Apostle Doris Brown. Take it on home.
Thank you. So my favorite quote is exposure dispels myths. And the reason for that is because I'm a staunch believer that aptitude is universal. However, opportunity is not. And so I have founded a nonprofit organization called Impact for Community Change. And our logo that I'll share with you guys here is IFCC. If you guys could see the I, the F, and then the C's to turn inward, it actually represents a key. So we believe that everyone is capable of great things, but not everyone is given the opportunity and resources. And so at Impact for Community Change, we are bridging the gap and providing services to be the final key for those who are looking for and want to obtain a brighter future. And so that's my favorite quote for the evening. And I just wanted to share that and say thank you, guys.
Hello. So my favorite quote is, never worry about the delay of your success compared to others, because the construction of a palace takes more time than an ordinary building. And the reason why I love this quote so much is because we know that we want to succeed in life, and we see others doing things that we want to do. And we feel that we need to try to rush the process to get to where others are at. And we got to understand that, you know, it's not about what we want, it's about what God wants, and it's going to be at God's pace. And the reason why I said that is because I started my college career at a very late age. And like I said, I knew I always wanted to, you know, do something with my life, and I just didn't know how to get there. And it was just me trying to rush the process. God had to slow me down and had to actually sit me down and, you know, let me know that it's not what I want, it's what he wants and where he's going to take me. So I just look at it as, you know, you might see somebody, you know, living a lifestyle that you want to live, or, you know, being a lawyer, doctor, or whatever it may be that you want to be, and they're already there. But, you know, just got to give it time. And if that's something that God wants to happen to you, it will happen.
Hi, listen, I want to say this, that mine is choose death. And when I say choose death, I say choose death to anxiety. I've been told as a child that I was a mistake. And so even after having all the titles, all the accolades, I still had issues behind all of that was hidden. And what they saw in view was not what I was feeling inside. And so when God gave me that I need to choose death, that I will put those things to put those things to death. Don't allow them to operate, or don't allow them to function within my mind. Don't give it life. And so many times I have given the disabilities life, because I spoke so much about the disability that I didn't realize that my disability would be my capability, that God would give me the strength, and he would give me the encouragement. He would encourage me to encourage others, that no matter how they came into this world, that God can still use them. And even though as I came up, I began to stutter because I began to be so nervous. And, I was good as long as I was behind the scenes. And so God allowed me to see myself. And he said, no matter what, no matter about you stuttering, he said, I still use Moses. I still chose Moses. And he said, I am choosing you today. So I want you to choose death. If you choose death, I can give you the life that I expect for you.
Wow. Okay. Listen. Wow. That just I'm glad you went last. Wow. I just feel like I need to just like rest in that for a moment and let that just sink in for everybody, because what a way to wrap up everything that we talked about tonight, everything that what was said. There's been so many things that we've experienced in life, the stories that we have, the things that we've gone through, the traumas, the issues. And I remember back to when I was younger, in my 20s, and I would always say, my anxiety, I would always say my anxiety, my social anxiety. And I remember one day something just woke me. I don't know if it was a message that I heard or somewhere along the way I learned to stop saying my anxiety. And I told myself, it does not belong to you. It's not, that is not yours. You have something great. So that anxiety, go, because you got work to do. And so we put depth to those things. We put depth to those labels. We put depth to those issues that no longer haunt us. They don't control us. We put depth to manipulation. We put depth to control. We put depth to vain imaginations and thoughts that haunt us and plague us and keep us up at night. We put depth to, we put fear to death. Come on, we put everything that has not served us, everything that has hindered us, everything that set us back. We put those things to death. We bury those things. And we're going to just say, here lies anxiety. Here lies disease. Here lies COVID. Here lies divorce. Here lies fear. All of those things that have haunted us for so long, those things that have tried to hold us back, we are no longer going to let those things hinder us. We're going to move forward and go to our next level. And I'm just so grateful to be amongst so many powerful people tonight. You all have encouraged me. You all have just pushed us into like another dimension with this thing. I just felt a shift. And so I just want to say, like, I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful for the anointing that's in this room. I'm grateful for the power that's in this room. I'm grateful for every story that is in. Come on, when you think about the collective stories, think about the weight, the magnitude of what we carry as women who have gone through all of these different things and coming together. And now we're not only pushing each other, but we got a whole book. We got a whole book. My husband's peeking in the door. He's peeking into the office. We got a whole book, y'all. And we are going to just let these stories continue. We're going to continue to share. We're going to continue to push these things because more people need to hear and feel what we felt tonight. So I just want to say once again, thank you. And to those of you who are in the audience, those of you who are guests tonight, I want to just open up your mic if you would like to share anything tonight, if anything resonated with you, if anything just connected with you, feel free. We're gonna take a few minutes to allow you to speak.
So, greetings, everyone. So this piece right here is called "Who Am I?" And I so appreciate being here. I have two biological sisters here in the room, Miss Mary Kay Holmes and Miss Janice Berg. This piece is called "Who Am I?" Generous is the meaning of my name. I am Tracy, not spelled Tracey, Tracie, or Traci. I am Gracie, AC, and often racy, but never crazy or spacey. I don't waste time being pacey because it takes up too much time, too much spacey. God knew where to place me, for I will put you in your placey, get in your facey, and will face he while maintaining my safety. Who am I? My name is Tracy, and I just wanted to introduce myself, and I'm glad to be a part of this forum this evening. Thank you. That is all.
Y'all, can I? That's my sister. All right, Tracy, I love you. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
We love you, Tracy.
Love you too.
I'll share my sisters. Janice and Tracy, I'll share y'all with the rest of the group. But I'm just so happy because I always forget. Am I the eighth sister? I'm the eighth sister, right?
You're the last that we know of.
That we know. Listen, Janice has no filter. So listen, I am the baby. Once again, I was the baby on my mom's side. I'm the baby on my dad's side. And I just love it because 8 is one of my favorite numbers. Actually, it is my favorite number. It means new beginnings. And this was absolutely a new beginning for me. Learning about my different sisters, getting to know them, learning about my dad through them. And I just love the fact that you shared that, Tracy. What a great way to just add what we just did tonight. This is like a gift to me. I'm just going to be a little selfish and just going to receive that for myself. All right. So does anyone else who as a guest tonight, before we finish off with some more giveaways, Anyone else want to share anything that resonated with you? Even the co-authors, if you have any last things that you want to share. If not, I understand y'all want to hurry me get to the more giveaways. No pressure.
I would like to say, when you went around and asked everyone for their quote, the one quote that always comes to mind for me is by Gandhi. And he says, you must be the change that you wish to see in the world. And I truly believe that with Outlive the Labels, both volumes 1 and 2, we can actually begin to see the change that we all would want to see in the world. And I truly believe by releasing the stories and releasing, and coming out of the labels that people have placed on each and every one of us, whether you're from volume 1, volume 2, or both volumes, I truly believe that the Outlive the Labels is allowing us to be that change in the world. We're saying no more to the labels. We're not going to, sit back and be victims of molestation or of any other childhood trauma. That we're going to, say, okay, look, even from when Miss Janice Berg said, the financial, we're going to take back that financial trauma, and we're going to be that change. And I think that our voice is being heard, and I think there's more to come. I know you said you want to do something different with Outlive the Labels, but maybe it's more conferences or something else. But I truly believe that, through us, we're being the change that we all want to see in this world.
I really see that there's a new sisterhood that's really starting to form with Me Too movement and a number of different movements. I work with a young white woman, not young, because she's almost my age, but she's really working on diversity and anti-racism. I have never seen anyone so personally committed to anti-racism. I am just so proud of her. And I think that what's happening, and we saw this with all of the protests over the summertime, that we are pushing back against racism. And it's not just us, our fight anymore. It's not the old people who came down and fought for the civil rights movement. There's really a new generation. And you look around your own neighborhoods, there are so many families that are just blended, mixed. It's always shown in our Black skin, Tracy, and Mary Kay. That mixture has always shown in the Black skin of the African American community, Doris. We can look at each other and see that we lived in a multiracial society, but increasingly people are coming out. Your love does not have to be hidden anymore. And these people who are part of your family, you're not gonna let some racist say step to your Black grandchild. You're not gonna let some racist step to your Asian wife. This is a new America. And I think the African American woman we especially are really poised to take our leadership place, because quite frankly, we have been maligned for too long by white men, white women, Black men. Everybody has been maligning us, and we've been carrying this daggone race on our backs and our crotches. And it's really about time that we protected ourselves and protected each other. And I really do think that we are on the cusp of something truly great. Even someone at my age, where I have less time ahead of me than I have behind me, I see what's happening. I think something is brewing, and I'm ready to take my place again and trying to work for that change so that I can leave a legacy of change behind, a foundation and someone behind.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And one thing that I took away from that really resonated with me is we have to take our rightful position. And it goes right along the lines of what CW just put in the comments. She said her quote is, "There are miracles in the mundane. Embrace your process and position. Embrace your process and position." I love it. Okay, all right, let's go to some giveaways.
Don't call me a queen if you're treating me like a hoe. Okay? Don't talk out of two sides of your mouth.
That's right. Listen, take our rightful position, and we command respect. We teach people how to treat us. So thank you for sharing that. Sister Jessica said, this has blessed me so much tonight. I'm about to be in tears. Oh my goodness, because every time I tune in and hear your stories, they encourage me more and more to speak out. I am so grateful for you all. I pray one day, volume 3, I guess, hint, hint, I can share a little something about my story. Listen, Jessica, if you want to be in volume 3, I will make room. There is room for you. Listen, we have all the authors selected, but I will make room. Okay? You sit in that chapter. Yes, Yvonne said, do it, Jessica. Listen, this is what happens in spaces like this. People get pushed to go to their next level. Jessica, I'm telling you, 800 to 1,000 words, send it to me. Send it to me. I will get you in this next book. Don't we gonna do this. All right, let's get to this giveaway. I have a random number generator. And I'm thinking, well, not thinking, the generator has generated a number between 1 and 20. The first person to put that number in the chat gets a free book. 1 to 20. 1 to 20. Oh, wait a minute. I got to keep my eye on this. I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. I feel like, like one of those, like, when you hot, cold, like, oh, somebody's boiling hot. Okay, I don't see it. No. I still don't see it. Oh, y'all just everything but. Hold on, I don't see it. Oh, Antoinette, you got it. Antoinette got it. All right. Let me put your name down. All right. We'll do a few more. All right, random number generator. 1 to 20. First person to put it in the chat. Oh, well, I see it. Hold on. Okay, wait, y'all still going. I gotta scroll up. Somebody got it. Michelle. All right, my cousin Michelle. All right. Okay, let's do another one. Hold on. I gotta wait for the numbers to stop coming through. Sister Jessica going easy on y'all tonight. She's like, look, I didn't want to lie. Y'all can take y'all. Hold on. Okay. All right. Another number. She says she's tired. 1 to 20. Another number. Nope. Don't see it yet. Still don't see it. Nope, don't see it yet, but I'm still scrolling. Still don't. Oh, wait, Jessica. She said she's tired. Now she didn't got it. Look, we put depth of tired. Here lies tired. we overtired. She got her book. All right, Jessica got that one. All right. Let's do two more. It's past 10 o'clock. Hold on. All right, another number. Look back. All right, another number between 1 and 20. Hold on. I don't know when y'all started. Hold on. We got to start over. I'm sorry. Let me regenerate another number because hold on 1 second. New number. Here we go. Boom. All right. 1 to 20. I still don't see it. I don't see it. Hold on. I don't see it. Oh, y'all going fast. How fast are y'all typing? I can't keep up. Hold on. Okay. Nope. Don't see it. Nope. Y'all close. Oh, Apostle Brown. Got it. It was 14. I'm not even telling y'all what the numbers are, but y'all can probably guess based on who I'm saying is winning. But it was the number 14. All right, one more. Did I say one more or two more? All right, let's just go with it. Hold on. Somebody write new number. Okay, there, I see the new number. All right, here we go. One